Good morning, boys and girls. It's lovely to see you all again. You going to wait for me? Hello. Now, this has been a lovely week, except I've missed school. I miss my friends at school. I miss the boys and girls in school. I'm sure you're missing school too. But with this lovely weather, I decided I am going to make some plants grow. But I realised I needed to plant some seed before that. So I decided to plant some seed, but I didn't really know how, but I'd give it a go. So let's have a look how I went about planting my seeds. So I got my seeds, you can see them biting my lip, and this is what I did.
Find this really good spot to plant some seeds. So I'm going to put one in there, this lovely wee one. I'm going to put in there, and there, lovely, in among the lovely stones. Won't that be great?
What about in here? So I take the seed and go boop. Oh, it's lost in all the brambles. Don't think that will be
Here in the road. One. Oh, there. That's not two nice wee seeds. Lovely. Wee bit. Wouldn't that be lovely? Just sitting there. Nice as could be. No hassles. Excellent. Happy days. Oh man! I think this is looking the best spot. So I'll put a seed in there, into some nice soil, and I'll put a seed in there, and I'll cover them up, and we'll leave them be. Good idea.
Now, as you can see, I wasn't very good at planting the seeds. There's a lovely story in the Bible in Luke chapter 8, all about sowing seeds and the right and the wrong place to sow them. So let's read this together. So here we have a farmer and he's out in the fields, and before the tractors they used to just scatter the seed by hand. So let's read along. Jesus told a story about a farmer who scattered some seed in a field. He wanted the seed to grow well so he would get a big harvest. Now some seed fell on the path and it got squashed when someone stood on it. That seed didn't grow. That's a bit like my seed I put on the road. What happened to it? Yeah, a car drove over it. Some seed fell onto good ground, but it sat on the surface below it. So let's read this wee story here, and we'll read it together. Okay, so some seed fell onto good ground, but birds came and ate it. That seed was lost too. And that's a bit like my seed. The wee bird came along and ate it. Some seed fell onto rocks where it began to grow, but the seed died because it was too hot and dry. And this is probably the big sun, and all the wee seeds got baked because they weren't down in among the soil. You read it? That's right. Some seeds fell between the weeds. The weeds grew bigger, so it's like grass and all. So the weeds grew bigger than the new plants and they had no room to grow. That's like me trying to plant in among all those brambles. But finally, some seed fell onto good ground and grew into big, strong plants. The plants had lots of new seeds for the farmer's harvest. So when you plant some seeds, they grow leaves and they grow a stem, but they will grow lots of new seeds that will then grow new plants. So you end up getting more and more. So the point of this story that Jesus told was God's words are like seeds. And sometimes that they grow in our hearts. And when they grow, we want to have a harvest, and that means we pass it on to other people, we tell people. But to make things grow well, you need to look after your seeds. And that's why we have to pray, and we read our Bibles, and we try to learn and look after our hearts just like we need to look after seeds. So today's lesson is all about the sower, and the sower spread the seed, but it went in different places. Now that's a parable. It's a wee story that Jesus tries to get a meaning across. And there were 4 types of soil. So it was like a path, and then there were some rocks, and there was in among weeds, and then there was good soil. And each of these are sort of like how people respond when we tell them about Jesus. That sometimes they may not really listen, it lands on a hard rock, and then it just disappears, gets stolen away by the worries. And maybe it grows among the rocks, starts off well, but they don't keep going, they don't keep reading their Bible, so they don't really have a root, and they don't last very long. And again, then some do start to grow, but they start doing things they shouldn't do, and their belief in God gets a bit choked out by the thorns and the weeds. And then finally, that stuff, the good soil, yeah. That's why we go to Sunday school, to look after the soil in our hearts, so that all that God tells us can grow, and we will have a harvest and be able to spread it to other people. Enjoy your week. Bye bye.